All right, hi everyone, I'm Landry, Hodges, like she said, and I'm glad to be praying again this year. It's funny how well Carol and everyone at 1 Million for Anna can bring everyone together, because this time last year was my first time meeting another Ewing sarcoma survivor, and I'd already been 2 years out at that point, so that was really special. And it's just so coincidental how 1 Million for Anna kind of came into our lives and how much it means to us, because I think Carol mentioned at one point that Romans 12:12 was also one of my hit verses as I was going through treatment for everything, and it says, "Rejoice in hope, be patient in tribulation, and be constant in prayer." And rejoicing in hope, I was just talking to my mom about this earlier. I was like, yeah, it's so nice that we can just rejoice and hope with everyone around here and be so hopeful for Ewing sarcoma and for cancer research. And she reminded me that the hope is also what's next and what Ewing does. So that was really special to think about. Figured I'd mention that to everyone. Also, speaking of the number 12, it was my football number, and I played quarterback, and I love football. I wore number 12 since probably 4th grade, 5th grade. And football was like everything for me and my friends in high school. I graduated in 2015. We call ourselves the Dream 15. Like, we just loved it. And one thing while I was going through treatment was people would send cards, and people I didn't even know. This was someone my uncle worked with, but she said, "Your number 12 is a revered number in history, both by mathematicians and by astronomers. There are many references to number 12 throughout the course of man. It's a powerful number. The sky was divided into 12 portions. The year was divided into 12 months. 12 gods on Mount Olympus, 12 disciples of Jesus, 12 Pythagoras. Number 12 was divine, was profound. It had mystical meaning for being such a number that can be divisible, clocks, calendars, etc. So it's just crazy how things can work out and how God can put you in different type of situations. But it's crazy how specific and how there's such a small demographic for Ewing sarcoma. Around 200 U.S. cases per year, most occurring in patients ages 10 to 20. Slightly more common in males than females. 87% happens in the bone, normally the thigh, pelvis, ribs, shoulder blades, but it can also be found in the soft tissue, and the cause is, of course, unclear. I love the sticker that 1 Million for Anna sends out. It says, it's like a bumper sticker, "Never heard of Ewing sarcoma? Be glad." But it's just funny. I feel like so many of us in this room remember the first time we heard the word Ewing sarcoma. It's unique. It's not something you hear every day. When I started coming out and telling people, like, "Oh yeah, I have cancer. I'm going to be going through treatment," they're like, "Oh, what kind?" I'm like, "It's called Ewing sarcoma." They're like, "Yeah, I've heard of that. I know you have." But I do remember the first time I heard it. I was sitting in my living room in our house in Fort Leavenworth, Kansas, that we lived in for about 6 years at the time, and I sat across my parents in my favorite chair in the living room where I watched ESPN all the time. And they had to methodically tell me in a way that I could somewhat understand and process that this little lump was actually Ewing sarcoma in my soft tissue. And they more laid the facts out about everything, explained what they could, that it was treatable, but it was going to take time. And I asked, "What's the plan? Like, how do we treat it?" And I heard some words from my dad that also stick with you for a while. He paused and he said, "Chemotherapy." And so how did we get here? It was May of 2015, just days after I graduated high school and planned to attend Ole Miss for summer school, and then subsequently in the fall. And a couple months before that, maybe even years, we don't really remember quite the first time that we saw it, but there was just a little lump on my leg. And it was benign at first, very small. We had our family physician tell us it was a mole at one point. It looked small, cyst-like. And then in the ensuing months of 2015, as we got further and further in the year, it started to noticeably grow. And this was, I think, one of the nights before I had the surgery. Actually, I was sending a picture to my brother. I probably would never have this picture. But we first got it checked out when we went to a doctor's, Army doctor's office in Fort Leavenworth, and he looked at it, and I remember it vividly. He took like a classic Ticonderoga #2 pencil, and he had the eraser, and he's like, "Oh yeah? Interesting, yeah. I don't know what it is, but we'll take it out, sure." We kind of tossed around some ideas and everything, and he's like, "I mean, you want to go to sleep for it, or you just want to numb it and get it out?" I'm like, "Yeah, just numb it up. We'll get it out. I'll get back to track center. You know, that's what I'm thinking and everything." But thankfully, he changed his mind and went under anesthesia and everything. But I mean, in my mind, even at that point, was the worst part of the surgery is I had to miss the first couple weeks of track, my first track meet. I'm like, this is stupid. This is dumb. I'm obviously fine. This is nothing. And eventually, the biopsy came back, and no matter how fine I thought I was or I felt, I obviously wasn't. And it's just interesting because cancer doesn't care who you are. It doesn't look, where you are in life. I was in the best shape I'd ever been in. I'm about 6'2". I weighed about 205, 200 pounds around then. I could squat about 400 pounds, bench press like 300 pounds, ran a 4.58 40-yard dash, top 10 in the state in hurdles, and cancer still didn't care. So I ended up delaying just a little bit the start of my treatment so I could play in the Kansas versus Missouri All-Star football game later that summer. And it was actually kind of, as we were around here talking to other survivors and patients and everything, and that's one thing we would have changed looking back on it, because we delayed my treatment by about a month or so just so I could play this football game. But it was super fun, and that was me during the football game. And I loved it. It was awesome. But no matter how someone describes chemotherapy to you, I feel like it won't be accurate. They won't truly know how it's going to affect you, because it affects everybody different. Every side effect's different for every person. Everything's different. And so I had my first round of treatment on June 29th of 2015, 3 days after my 18th birthday. And I didn't know what to expect, and neither did my family. They all came out with me on the first day, which was nice. And for the first couple rounds of chemo, they keep you on an inpatient basis, or that's what they did for me. And they observe how you react to the treatment, and then furthermore, they'll bring you on an outpatient basis sometimes, is what they did for me. But being in the hospital was so frustrating, because this was a time where all my friends were still around after high school and everything. They hadn't gone to college yet, and all I wanted to do was go hang out with them, be at the pool, be outside, do whatever, and I was stuck in a hospital getting chemo. And I like to work out and everything, and so I was excited that they had a stationary bike on the floor, and I was like, oh, cool. And it was my first or second day of chemo. I had the 2-day round for the first time, and so I'm feeling good. I'm like, all right, I got this, and so I take my little pole and I go to the stationary bike, and I do a couple miles, like high intensity, and feeling good and everything, and come back to the room, and as I'm getting back there, I'm sitting there talking with my dad and everything, sitting on the bed, starting to breathe hard and everything, and I think all it took was you good? Like, you all right? And then I spent some time in the bathroom. So there's just a lot of things about chemotherapy that people don't necessarily tell you or have a way to tell you. So being the eager person that I am, trying to get to Ole Miss, trying to get to college, I mapped out my entire chemo schedule. This is the week they told me I'm doing this. This is the week I'm doing this. This week I'm doing this. And it was like my third or fourth round, and my doctor, Dr. Max, comes in, and she's like, well, your white blood count and platelets aren't where they need to be. No chemo this week. And you'd think I'd be excited that I wasn't getting poisoned for the week, but I was just ready to be done. I wanted to be done, and I never could get used to this because I was just ready to be on my schedule. Told me I was going to have it then, that one never just sat well with me. And another aspect that not a lot of people know about chemo is Neulasta and Neupogen shots. And one of the side effects to those is bone pain. I'm reading it and I'm like, that's strange, that's a weird side effect. And for some reason, towards the beginning of my treatment, I was always just kind of numb to it. I'm like, that won't be me, but you never really know, like I said, what's going to affect you or not. And this was one that really kind of hit me pretty hard. I finished these hard weeks of chemo and everything, and you have to take these shots to raise your blood counts to where they're supposed to be. And I would get terrible joint pain. I would lay in my bed, and my hips and my knees and my ankles would just feel terrible. And at the peak of my pain, I would shift in bed and nothing would be better. It was just throbbing, sharp pains, and I would just have to hobble to the bathroom or up to the doctor's office to get my port de-accessed or whatever it may be. But that's just one thing that I can never really get used to, for sure. I want to speak briefly on just some ways that people help me get through treatment. Caregivers, I want to talk about caregivers. I think it requires a gentle soul, tough skin, and the abilities to put others before yourself. Caregiver does not take shortcuts. In fact, they go the extra mile just so you can take your next step. They know when to give space and when to be the aggressor, what to ask and what to stay away from. They're willing to take care of tasks that you forget to or may not be able to tend to. And when to give you that hug you need while you're still port access. It may take an army to tackle a task like cancer, but they're the soldier on the front line, ready to battle for you. So thank you, Dad. But even just to be a friend or family member is a super tough task to someone who's undergoing cancer treatment. You have to see them deteriorate from their normal selves, but still treat them the same. I was fortunate to have the type of friends who would visit me in the hospital and play PlayStation with me in my room, just like we were sitting in our basement like nothing else, even though we obviously weren't. They wouldn't ask me about anything that was going on. They just be happy to see me, which was awesome. They stayed past the visiting hours and pretty much had to get kicked out. And I had a type of friend, like my buddy Alex, who would not let me shave my head alone, no matter how many times I told him, like, you don't have to do this. Willie and Jared, who would sit there in the hospital room and me and my mom play Uno with us. Jason, who would invite me to KU and his college dorm, just like I was visiting, like nothing else. But I was really fortunate to kind of stay around my own town. We had a real community around me, a lot of prayer warriors, a lot of people organizing meals. We hosted a blood drive. I had a great outturn, and it was just really great. And I had the type of support, like a grandma who would barely know how to text, but text me every single day. Day 167, just still thinking of me like that. But also the staffs at the hospital were just absolutely amazing. I got treatment out in Kansas City area, Children's Mercy Hospital in Kansas City, and the bright spirits and optimism of the staff at Children's Mercy were felt from immediately, day one. I really tried to get down on myself. They just left me no option at all. They didn't see me as someone who was sick, but rather just someone who needed help overcoming an obstacle that was in their way. And I can't express my appreciation and the way that the oncology team at Children's Mercy cared for me. It's really unmatched. They're so impressive and methodical how they do things. And I don't know if, I'm sure some of us in this room have seen it, but a nurse, if she's changing things out of your port, she kind of like grab something like this and do the needle, and the next thing she grabs something like this, and I swear I think they have fingers as hands. It's really impressive. But I know we've all kind of had like that waitress or waiter at a restaurant. It's like, you need anything? No, you good? All right, no, yeah. Oh, wait. But a nurse was more of like, do you need anything? What can I get for you? Do you need a warm blanket? No, I'm okay. All right, well, I'll be right back with a warm blanket. And they're just so special, and so you really don't have to fight cancer alone when you have a team like that around you. So I can't thank everyone enough. But getting back to the rounds of chemo, they really kind of start to wear on you after a while, because even after the first, second round, third round, you get sick for a little bit and sweat it all out, work out some more, and you'll be fine. But once you really start getting in the thick of things and summer turns to fall and your friends are going and everything, it changes a lot. And so you have to really find motivation so you don't get worn on from a mental and physical standpoint. I know one time this was all the motivation I needed for a day, but I went to Children's Hospital, like I said, and I'm lame. I'm like their, just kind of their clinic beds, and I didn't exactly fit on them that well. And so I'm laying on them, and a girl about this big walks up to me, and real slow, real shy, her mom's standing at the door, and she hands me a little sucker, like a little lollipop, and she just goes, "Good luck." I don't think me and my mom said anything for like the next 30 seconds. We were just kind of, whew. So that, if she can come up to me with that type of enthusiasm and tell me good luck, then I'm fine for that day. That'll get me through that day. But from a mental standpoint too, it just, it gets hard and you just feel a little bit stuck, especially with your friends being gone and everything. And so one day, it was after, I guess on an off week of treatment, I didn't have a backpack of fluids or anything. I was just kind of recovering, laying in bed, and we get a call from the child life specialist at Children's Mercy and asking if I was interested in going to see the World Series game in Kansas City that night. And I was very interested. So I immediately start calling up my friends who are still around at local colleges and everything. And this was about a week and a half after I got my second surgery, past the Army surgery, I would call it. But this was the one where they got clear margins and got everything good. It took up a good bit of my leg and everything. But so I was really just getting worn down, and this just kind of like the Red Sea parting, and this was awesome. I've been keeping up with Kansas City, like I've watched a lot of sports at this time, and so the Royals were in the playoffs. It was awesome, and so I got to take 3 of my friends. Here, I have a picture. This was my high school football team. They put my number on the back of their helmet that season, and so these are 3 of my buddies from high school. And we got to go to game 2 of the Kansas City World Series game, and we got message that we were going to have parking, and we pick our tickets up from the ticket booth. Well, we did not know we were going to be in the front row behind home plate. So that was just extremely special. I got to feel the energy from the crowd. I could just turn around and see a sea of blue. I could smell the popcorn. I could hear the umpires call. I could watch the players swing their bat on deck, listen to the pop of the ball in the catcher's mitt. I mean, I felt alive. I was 6 or 7 rounds in chemo, but I could have ran through a brick wall that night. It was amazing. And that really propelled me for a little while and helped me to remember to just keep putting one foot in front of the other, and opportunities will just find you. So this night was really a blessing. But let's see, this was me at the game, front row. And it came back to have some interesting consequences. So I guess this was game 2. I can't remember if it would have been like the week after next. But I had to go in for a Monday round of chemo. And so the Royals win the World Series. It's amazing. The town's going crazy. And the parade's that next Monday in downtown where my hospital was. So it turns out I was going in for treatment for the day, and an hour drive turned into closer, probably 2.5 or 3. And then getting back home was even worse, and we left about 7 that day, had to go back the next day, and this is why. A lot of people in Kansas City that day. But I'll still say the game was worth it. And from a physical standpoint at this time, I was starting to struggle too. I would pretty much get sick about every round of chemo, and we tried some antiemetics and everything. they helped, but I just kind of got the tail end of the side effects, and they just sort of started to get the best of me. And where I was before, just months, 205 pounds, in the track season, go to college and everything, I look in the mirror and see myself about 165 pounds, and pale and bald and lethargic, and I was self-conscious about myself. And there's small occurrences that happen, and you can't really explain how they make you feel. Could be a double take in public, not even on purpose. Could be someone kind of noticing you don't have eyelashes or eyebrows. Could be someone you haven't seen in a while, like, oh, you look great, even though you don't look great. And these can really accumulate into hardship. And I'll tell one quick story. So we lived on a military base, and so there's gate guards at the gate, and every time you walk in, you show them your military ID, and you keep going. Sometimes car searches, whatever. But I was going in one day around this time of tough treatment and everything, and I hand the gate guard my ID, like I've probably seen this guy, 100 times, whatever. But I hand him my ID, and I don't remember specifically what he said, but it was something along the lines of, oh, bad haircut, or oh, didn't wasn't short enough before, or something for you. And I'm like, in my mind, I was like, I can make this guy feel about this big right now. But it was one of those moments like, oh yeah, have a great day, sir, good to see you. Yep. And so that's just another thing people don't always realize is everything changes. And also, I don't think I mentioned yet, I'm a type 1 diabetic and have been since I was 13, so that added a lot of just complications. It's just my lifestyle now, but as you're going through treatment, your eating habits change, that sort of thing. So it's just another added step. And one thing I remember from the 2 diagnoses, cancer and diabetes, is that the doctors told me, like, oh, this is not your fault, this is not something that you could prevent, this is not on you, you didn't do anything wrong. And part of me is like, man, I just wish I did something wrong so I know what would cause these things. And you just get mad, like you don't know why, you don't know why. And something that really helped me with this was my friend Deidre going through treatment. She was a sarcoma patient as well. I don't remember specifically what type, to be honest, but my nurse practitioner, Christy, set us up with one another, and one day we were both just in the clinic and found a room where her mom, my mom, me and her could just kind of sit and talk and everything. And that day just really kind of sticks out to me because I remember she had a very bright spirit, real bubbly personality, and I remember her saying about a time when she had relapsed, and it was her and her mom in the doctor's office, and the doctor told them what was going on, told them that the cancer had come back. She said her mom just broke down and everything, and she was like, I started laughing, and me and my mom were so confused. We're like, why did you start laughing? She's like, I didn't know what else to do. And that was just the craziest thing to me, that her instinct was to laugh. Like, that's just how she carried herself, that's how she went about life. I mean, it was really remarkable what Deidre would do. But I think I have a picture. Yeah, that's Deidre in the back. Right there, it's me. And this was the day, actually, I was finishing up my treatment and everything. And I remember she came in and was like, there's a cake and everything. She's like, can I celebrate with y'all? And it just meant the world that she still wanted to celebrate, even though I was done and she wasn't. So, and Deidre passed away about a year after this. But really, I guess what I'm trying to say is my faith in God and my faith in humanity itself is what really got me through treatment. Isaiah 54:17 was another one of my hit verses as I was going through treatment and everything. And it says, "No weapon formed against me shall prosper." And we just can't let it. This is an earthly thing. This is not what God did. So we can't let it prosper. It's a weapon. It truly is. And we have to be the defense. So, like I said, 12 was my number. And this was my last day of treatment. But it was funny because the first round of chemo regimen is 14 rounds for Ewing sarcoma. And I had a complication, which I'll spare you all the details of, but I had to stop after the 12th round. And I found out on January 12th. And 12 is just my number. So Romans 12:12 just sticks with me. It really does. And I just feel like you can either ask yourself, God, why did you do this to me? Or, God, what can I do to not let this prosper? How can I not let this weapon prosper? How will you help me use this task to grow? And I can say from my experience, that's not always going to be written in black and white, but you have to find it, and you have to want to find it. And I feel like for a lot of us in this room, this is the weapon that was put against us, but we just have to fight. And this is me 3 years after. So. So I guess if I had to leave y'all with one thing, it would be to not let whatever the weapon in your life is prosper. And right now, this is our weapon. And we just have to keep fighting it. And it can't be someone else. You have to take it on yourself. You have to eradicate Ewing sarcoma today, tomorrow, and until it's gone. Thank you, guys.
June 26th. Is it significant for any reason? It will be Landry's birthday.
22.
Happy birthday to you.